Hello, everybody, and welcome back into my kitchen. It's Amy Silver, Senior Leader with Epicure, and tonight we are cooking up a home-style chicken stew with some fresh bagels. So thank you so much for coming in with me. I'm going to jump right into things, and then I'll explain a little bit about what we're doing. So in my multi-purpose steamer, I've got some chicken already diced up, and to this, I am going to add my sweet potato. So I'm using cubed sweet potato. You could use white potato, carrots, celery, any veggie combination that you prefer. Now to this, I am going to add, I've got 2 cups of water and our home style chicken stew seasoning. So I am going to just add this to the water. And then shake it up to incorporate. That lid is on tight. And then add this straight into the multi-purpose pot, multi-purpose steamer, and pop the lid on, which is over here. Got my lid. So our multi-purpose steamer has vents on the top. The only thing you want to do is make sure that you've pointed, when you put the lid on, that you point the vents away from where your hands are going to be. Otherwise, you might get a blast of hot steam when you take it out of the microwave. I'm gonna pop that in the microwave. And we've got it going for 8 minutes. Now, I have made this stew multiple times. It takes anywhere from 8 to 18 minutes, depending on how thick your veggies are cut, what type of protein you're using, and what type of potato. So after 8 minutes, we will check it and see, we'll add the next pieces of veggies and see what then needs to be done. So while that's in the microwave, I want to tell you a little bit about Epicure. Now, many of you have been followers along with me for quite some time now and are quite familiar, but some of you may be brand new, as I know we do have hosts bringing in their guests on a regular basis. So for anybody who doesn't know, Epicure is a Canadian company. It was started in just outside of Victoria, BC, coming up on 25 years ago now, and we've branched out into the US within the last year and a half. And we are seeing lots of success because our philosophy, our mantra, our mission is teaching people how to eat good food again. And we really truly believe that to be healthy, you need to know what's in your food, and to know what's in your food is that you need to do the cooking. Now, this last year with the pandemic has drastically changed how so many of us live our lives. And so many people have been cooking at home 3 meals a day, some for the first time ever. And it can be daunting whether you are somebody who enjoys cooking or who has never cooked before. Maybe you cook out of necessity, but anybody who has had to spend any time in the kitchen, you know the very real feeling of needing that recipe refresh and being stuck in a meal rut. Perhaps you have the favorites, your tried and trus that you make over and over again, which are fabulous, but you're just wanting something extra to add in. Or perhaps every time you put a meal down on the table, you are tired of your little mini-me's turning up their nose at everything you make, because children definitely go through quite a wide process when it comes to their food. They're quite a wide range of emotions. And our children, we are what we eat, but our children are not what they eat. Our children are what they are being fed. And so if we can be getting as much whole foods, whole ingredients into them as possible, then that is setting them up for a really good start in life. My children were quite young when I started with Epicure. They were 2 and 4 when I joined as a consultant, but I had been following along with Epicure as a customer and a host for 5 years prior to that. So Epicure has been in my children's lives since before they were even born. And I get to teach them about nutrition. I get to teach them about entrepreneurship and giving back and how to be of service and have something to offer to the community. And I love that. It's fabulous. And so I love that I get to give back and share with my community and share with other people. So today we're making this home-style chicken stew. I am making it in the microwave. I do a lot of my meals in the microwave because it's fast and it saves me time. And while I enjoy cooking, I don't like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen because I have other interests and other needs and other demands on my time. So microwave cooking for me is a way of getting things out quickly and healthfully. Harvard University has done a lot of studies about how safe microwave cooking can be, and they have determined that it really comes down to the type of container that you are using. If you're using something plastic, that has a much higher chance of A, leaching something into your food, and B, letting your nutrients disperse, and it changes them on a molecular level, I'm told. So the key thing to use is something like glass or ceramic or a food grade silicone, because that is what is going to keep your nutrients in your food, allow them to cook quickly and evenly. And the quicker you cook your food, the more nutrients you're allowing to stay in that food. Now, I'm not here to change anybody's mind on microwave microwave cooking. If you don't have a microwave or don't want to use a microwave, that's okay. All of our recipes can be adapted for stovetop. I have made this stew on the stovetop in a pot. I've also made it in my Instant Pot. So it's very versatile and you can customize it many ways. This stew makes a delicious base for even a chowder mix as well. I've made it as corn chowder, and it also is a delicious fill-in for a chicken pot pie. So many varieties and things that you can do here. Now, two things that we have to prepare while our chicken finishes in the microwave. I'm just going to grab my broccoli from the fridge. So 1 second while I get that. And then we will get going. So I'm going to be adding, after the 8 minutes, we're going to test and see how everything is doing, how the chicken is doing, how the potatoes are doing, and if they need any more time. And then they usually need a couple more minutes, depending again on how thick everything has been cut. But at that point, I'm also going to add in broccoli, some peas, and some corn, and put everything in for at least 3 more minutes so that those additional veggies can cook. But the sauce that it makes is quite delicious. So I've got that ready to go in. And the next piece that we are going to do, put this in this cup so I can use my cutting board to show you our bagels, which are super duper easy. So I used our easy peasy bagel pancake and waffle mix. So 1.5 cups of this mix, which is completely gluten-free, and it contains, let's see, your ingredients here are your gluten-free flours as well as some cornstarch, a little bit of sugar, potato starch, baking powder, tapioca starch, some salt, some xanthan gum. So some pretty standard ingredients that you're gonna find in most of your gluten-free all-purpose flour blends. And so 1.5 cups of that mix, plus 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt, and I've made this dough that we're going to use, and it's just been resting here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this dough or change this dough into about 6 equal pieces. This dough gets very sticky when you're working with it, so I have a little glass of water here so that I can change my hands out if I need to as we are going. So we have got that all almost ready to go. Got 1 minute left on our chicken stew. So I'm going to be using our bagel mold, muffin mold, whatever you want to put in here. If you don't have one of these, you can put your bagels on just a regular baking sheet, just grease a baking sheet, roll them out, and then form them on your sheet as well, and that'll be fine. I'm going to brush a little bit of oil into the wells of this bagel mold. The more that you use the silicone, I find the less oil you actually need to use. But something like bagels, I usually oil that all the time just because I want it to have a little bit of crispness on the bottom skin of the bagel. So all oiled and ready to go. And what we're going to do is take one of these balls, our gluten-free balls of dough, and we're just rolling it out just like playing with Play-Doh with the kids, rolling it out into a long tube until it is, let's see if that's going to be long enough. Mold it around, and I'm going to put it right in the bagel mold. Now, I'm going to check our stew. See how everything is doing. It smells fantastic. So let's give it a stir and see where things are as far as how cooked they are. The chicken, I can tell, is not cooked all the way through. It's still a little bit translucent in the middle, but it is quite cooked. Like I'd say it's almost cooked through, and the potatoes are pretty well done. So I think after about 3 more minutes with these added vegetables, it's gonna be perfect. So I'm gonna add in the broccoli and a cup of peas and a cup of corn. Get those all stirred up in here. And we'll put that back into the microwave. I'm going to go for 3 minutes, and then we'll see how it is. So once again, I'm going to point that steam vent away from the handles. Back in the microwave it goes. And back in for 3 minutes. And I will continue on with our bagels, and then I will show you what I'm going to top the bagels with. So I would love to know in the comments below, have you tried the chicken stew? It is a favorite of ours. And have you tried these bagels? I love using the same bagel recipe, so using the cup of yogurt with the cup and a half of the mix and laying it out flat on my baking sheet, using it as my pizza dough. That's my favorite way to make a pizza dough. It gives a really nice crust. Like most gluten-free mixes, I do find that it is best consumed the day that it is made. The longer it sits, the more it does tend to get dry and crumbly. That is an unfortunate side effect of gluten-free baking. Because you don't have the gluten is what is the protein, and the binding protein in the flour is what helps give it its elasticity. And so your gluten-free substitutes are not going to have that same type of elasticity. So almost done, and then I'll show you what we are topping these with. And these just are going to go in the oven at 375 for about 15 to 18 minutes. And while I'm not going to keep you on live to watch that the whole time, I will share a preview with you afterwards as soon as they come out of the oven. So you'll find as you get down to the last of the dough that you're working with, the more dough that transfers to your hands, the stickier it's going to be to work with. So I do like keeping some water nearby so that I can brush my hands. So now, wipe off as much of this as possible because it's sticky. And then I'm going to show you what I am topping them with. So I'm going to put cheese on all of them. I will often put cheese right in the mix with the yogurt and the flour as I am mixing them up. I didn't today just because I wanted to be able to customize these and show you the ease of how it comes together. But I do like having the cheese right in the bagels themselves. I'm going to put cheese on all of them. So let me know in the comments what's for supper at your house tonight. I would love to know how you found the group, how you came to be here tonight. Were you one of the founding members of the group, or were you invited? And if you were invited in by one of our lovely hosts, thank you so much. Please be sure to stick around, check out all of the posts. There are lots of different things that happen in this group throughout the week, different recipes. I go live on Thursdays and sometimes on Tuesdays as well, but the last Tuesday of the month is when you're going to get a full demo like this. So I have got my bagels with cheese on top, and on some of them I'm going to put our everything bagel topper. And this is a delicious blend of sesame and onion and garlic, as well as some chia seeds. And then on the others, I am putting some freeze-dried jalapenos because I love jalapeno, but one of my boys absolutely loves jalapenos, and he was asking if we had any jalapeno bagels. I told him he just had to be patient and wait until tonight, and then he could have some. So those are ready to go into the oven. So got some jalapeno ones on the end, and everything else is everything bagel, and that's checkers. So again, we're going to make sure those vents are pointed away. Oh, yum. It smells fabulous. I'll just show you what we are eating here. It is done. It is ready to go. What I really like using sweet potato instead of white potato because when I'm doing it in a microwave, it does take a lot less time to cook than a white potato. A white potato, usually those ones have me on the 16 to 18 minute total. One thing that I'd like to share with you about our products is that most of them are low in sodium. If they're not a true sodium-free dish, they are much less compared to anything that is commercially available. So if you find the biggest complaint that I get about Epicure is I tried that, I didn't like it, it was too bland. And the reason for that is our taste buds are we're accustomed to a high sodium diet, lots of additives, monosodium glutamate in our foods, which we don't add with Epicure. So add a little bit of salt and pepper if you find something is not quite the flavor that you're looking for. And that salt and pepper is most likely going to do the trick and bring it out for you. So there we go. We have our chicken stew and our bagels ready to go into the oven, and supper will be complete. And this came together in, let's see, we did 8 minutes and then 3 minutes, and everything is ready to roll. So thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen while we went from raw to ready in a very short amount of time. I'm going to pop those bagels in about 15 minutes. They will be ready to eat. And thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again next time. And please share in the comments below your takeaways. What would you add to your stew? Do you like microwave cooking? And how long have you been using Epicure? I'd love to know. Thank you so much for joining me. You have a wonderful rest of your day.